listening to UCY.tv.
I believe in angels, and I believe in you. I believe in the simple things and everything you do. I believe in the heavens above, and I believe in truth. I believe in the love we have, because I believe in you. So tell me, do you feel the way that I feel? Then tell me, would you give what I'm willing to give? I believe in honesty, and I believe it's true, and I believe if you set it free, it will come back to you. And I believe the things were meant to really be, and I believe in the love we have, because I believe in you.
Okay, we are live. This is ICureCancer.com. Before I get into anything, my name's Ian Jacklin, and I have a surprise for everybody. And this is going to be one of the weirder things for me to explain to you. It hurts my heart to tell you, but you're actually going to be in a very good place if you happen to be somebody that has pancreatic cancer right now, because if you don't know, pancreatic cancer is one of the hardest ones to beat. It's the one that killed Swayze and a number of people over the years. And I've been looking into it lately because a couple of my people have it. And unfortunately, one passed. One's still fighting. That cannabis hemp oil really seems to be helping folks. Anybody has that pancreatic cancer, if you can get a good high THC, high CBD strain of the cannabis hemp oil, that's where I would go. Because that seems to be working. But anyway, so long story short, and then I'll get to my co-host and then our guest. But the long story short is one of my best friends that I've met recently in the last few years is Michael McDonald. He's one of the smartest guys I know. He's the coolest guy I know. He's a martial artist, fellow bouncer, fellow tough guy from back in the day, but it's got a few brains in that noggin too, and has been helping cure people of cancer for many years at the Camelot Cancer Center. And he just found out he's got cancer, not just cancer, but pancreatic cancer. The worst kind of cancer anybody can possibly get. It's a real tough one to beat, folks. If you last 2 years with it, you're known as like a 2%er. So luckily for everybody out there that has pancreatic cancer, my friend, my Michael Angel here on earth got what you have and now is going to figure out how to cure it. And if anybody can do it, it's him, because he's a scientist that cures cancer for a living. That's what he's been doing. The FBI kicked his door in at Camelot and they beat him up. They cracked his ribs. They threw him in jail for a while. Why? Because he was a part of a hospital that works in America, and as you know, things that work in America that don't make rich people richer don't stay around too long. So anyway, I'm not going to harp on that too much, but look forward to seeing Michael soon. I'm probably going to have him on my I Cure Cancer web TV show soon. And there's a number of groups on Facebook that are pancreatic cancer, and they're so depressing because every time I go there, all they do is talk about who died. Oh, my God. So it's just a horrible, horrible form of cancer. And luckily, my friend Michael got it because he's the best guy on the planet that could get it to figure out how to beat it. And I'm going to be with him all the way. We're going to film it. And then we'll get that up on those Facebook sites for those people that just have no hope. Trust me, you have hope. It's not easy, the pancreatic, but we'll do it. And Michael's going to show you. Okay, Michael, I'll call you later for that one. J. Cynthia Brooks, are you there, darling?
Yeah, I'm here.
How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm a little wound up now. I got that out of my system. Yeah, it's so hard because it's like, yes, like if I'm going to walk down the street and I have a choice who's going to get attacked or mugged, me or an old lady, I'm going to take me because I'm a trained fighter and I like fighting. Same as if I had to pick somebody who's going to get pancreatic cancer, I would have picked me or Michael because we're both warriors and we both are smart and we'll figure out how to cure it. So, but at the same time, he's a good friend of mine, and pancreatic cancer kills almost everybody, it comes across. So I'm a little, let you talk now. Please. I'm done. I said my piece.
Well, I think it may be a very good thing, with what's going on with Michael, just as, and for those who don't know, I, was also diagnosed with cancer 17 years ago and, rejected all Western medicine and healed myself, with only alternative medicine in 8 months and have been cancer free ever since. That was the best thing that ever happened to me. It completely turned my life around. And, at the time, it did not seem like it was the best thing. And I never dreamed in a million years that I would be saying this, but it was really the best thing. And, it's interesting because the Essenes also say that usually what happens many times is great healers make themselves ill first, heal themselves, and then go out and heal others. And as you were telling me, that's what they said I did. And like all of you know, I'm very much into the healing, arts, as I call them. And what flashed across my eyes, actually, when you're telling me that story about Michael just now, I was like, oh, okay, I see what he's up to. He's up to. So, yeah, I'm sure. I mean, of course, then we're going to have to get into the spiritual side of it, whether you like it or not. It's really up to Michael if he wants to stay in this body or he wants to go back to pure positive energy, completely. That's really up to him. So it'll be interesting to see what his choice is. But right now, for me, what it looks like is that, he brought this on the superconscious level just to really sort of, actually negate everything you just said, Ian, meaning, pancreatic is the hardest and blah, blah,
right.
blah, 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 blah. I'm sure right now what it looks like is that he is going to find something that works very well, very fast for almost anyone who wants to hang on to their body.
You're so right. You're so right. Cause I interviewed a Mexican guy, one of the Mexican doctors, oncologist, and he wouldn't tell me that secret either. He said there is a secret for that pancreatic. The one that Patrick Swayze had too. It's something simple. And one of my friends, Ian Clark, told me, and I don't know if this is the secret or not, but he said people that take cayenne pepper, the really hot stuff, if you can get up to, I don't know if it was like 2 tablespoons of it in a liter of water per day for a couple weeks. And don't quote me on any of the numbers here, folks, but if you want to research a cayenne pepper cure, and I don't know, I don't tell people about that one too much because I haven't done enough research. So that's why I'm saying if you do want to look it up and find out. But I heard there's some kind of magic thing for the worst cancer there is. And it's something simple as that. Like just take cayenne pepper to the point where it knocks it out of your system. But again, I don't know if that's true. So that's what we're going to find out with Michael. And the great thing about Michael is, cause he's like you and I, sort of very, very in tune with things, very awake. And he already has his lesson. You know how most people, they have to go through cancer, and basically what you just said, like when you got through it all, you realized it was the best thing for you and blah, blah, blah. And most people, you have to go through almost dying to figure out what your lesson is. He already figured out what his lesson is. Now when he looks at the news, he don't care. He's not getting all upset and pissed off and depressed. It's like, cause he's kind of like me, sort of like wants to fix everything, when he sees it wrong, he wants to right it. So. Anyway.
Well, I'm not anymore on that page of, quote, a lesson. All of the researching that I'm doing, with the masters, it's really, there is no lesson. There is no, mission. There is a choice from non-physical before you take on this physical body. There is choices, things you would like to do in this particular lifetime. There's desire, in general, not specifically, but in general. And then we come through and, sometimes we lose our, path, that original choice. Sometimes we find it again, as a lot of us have. and you go through a process. But it's all wonderful. It's all, you learn things as you go along, and then, it only adds to the expansion of your being and the expansion of all that is and the expansion of the universe, and more desires are established. And, so it's been said, and I'm sorry this sounds so wacky, but I'm really starting to go with it. We didn't come here, as Abraham would say, we didn't come here to fix anything that was broken. We just came here to add more. And if you fix everything that's broken, there's no contrast. We came forth with desires and intentions, and we live them out. And I think that it's a little confusing because it's going to sound like a double-edged blade, but in Michael's case, I'm not surprised that he got ill because of the things that he went through. And yet at the same time, I wonder if not from his broader perspective, he put himself through those, challenges to wind up where he is now, and to find a simple cure that people can use that's not, so incredibly complicated. So it's interesting, and we'll never know. You never really know, because one person's experience is one person's experience. So you can never really know what they're gone through or doing, or what they're doing on a spirit level. But it is interesting to observe, that's for sure. And it's just interesting.
Just to add to that story real quick, the irony is, I honestly think, sure, we've all had our stresses, but we don't necessarily get cancer until something really triggers it. What do you think triggered it for Michael? He goes from being a regular guy, helping people cure themselves of cancer that normally wouldn't, to being in jail, being beat up by the FBI, then being put under house arrest. For almost a year, he's got a house arrest, and now he's got cancer. That's what people get cancer from, is major incidences, stressful incidences in their life. So, but it's going to come back to bite him in the ass, because the FBI shut down Camelot Cancer Center because it cured too many people, and now it made Michael get cancer. He's going to cure it and show the world, and it's just going to bring those scumbags down all the faster. Oh, I love it. Thank you, Jesus. Okay, so that's that. Whenever our guest caller wants to call in, he can. I think he's going to call in about quarter after. I hope. Organic Lynette.
I have some announcements.
Yes.
For everyone, I just caught myself. I was going to say for all the ladies out there, but this is for everyone. I don't know who establishes these kind of official days. I don't know. But next Saturday, March 8th, is officially International Women's Day, honoring all women and girls internationally. And so I think that's fun that we're going to have, a show on that day. And I don't know if a lot of people know about this, but it's all about celebrating women and all the things that they do. And I'm also possibly thinking of running, just, because of that, and in another Indiegogo campaign for my charity. I'm not 100% sure, but I'll announce it, because Indiegogo and another organization are going to be matching the donations on the 3rd and the 8th in honor of, and the whole week, like a lot of this one foundation is considering the whole week International Women's Week. But officially it's on March 8th. So I'm still kind of looking at that, and I'll let you know if I do that. But, and just for any new listeners, my charity, one of the things that I went through when I had cancer is, the financial problem. So I've created a charity or a foundation, whatever you want to call it, to assist, people who want to heal themselves of any disease with alternative medicine. And it's, financial aid to help them do that. And if you want to donate now or whenever, just contact me on Facebook, or you can contact me through Ian Jacqueline and inbox me, and I can give you instructions if you want to donate or if you need help or all kinds of things. It's just been, I want to thank everybody. It's been spectacular how they're coming out of the woodwork, trying to help and really get this charity up and rolling. And hopefully, oddly enough, one of Ian's followers on Facebook just put out, it kind of read my mind, that said that, Cynthia, I think this is a great thing that you're doing, this charity, and hopefully, insurance companies will follow suit, meaning, because alternative medicine is just it's just monstrous compared to 17 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Nobody knew what alternative medicine was. when I was trying to do it. And now, it's all over the place. And, so it is the future. And sooner or later, an insurance company is going to get smart enough to pick up on that and, start providing insurance for alternative medicine as well. So that's pretty exciting too.
Yeah. Right on. Okay.
And also, I just want to do a shout out. I think we have a new listener, my good buddy Derek Knight, who's a spectacular actor and just as handsome as he can be and really, really talented. I've known him for years and years from the Playhouse. I think he's listening in today. So I just want to say hi, Derek, if you are.
Right on. Okay.
And again, thank you to all of the, contributors to my charity as well. Thank you all once again. Therese Kablan, fabulous and a fabulous designer. Richard Courtney, who's, actor and producer extraordinaire. I just wanted to say how much I appreciate all of them and, stepping forward to help me with this.
Yeah, right on. Hold on right here. I'm just making sure we're going to get our guest to call in. Let me mention Hungry for Health Gala. That's the one I'm going to be speaking at. Organic Lynette. She's going to have this huge event April 4th, 5th, and 6th, I believe it is. 3rd, 4th, and 5th, it looks like. Lodge of the Ozarks in Branson, Missouri. So if anybody wants to come out to that, there's going to be a number of speakers. Myself, Chris Wark's going to be there, Dr. Vickers. It's going to be a really cool event. Black tie, everybody's going to be looking good, feeling good. It would be a good time for people to meet and talk about the latest of the latest. If you're not used to getting the latest of the latest in the Midwest, I'll be there from California to let you know what's going on here.
There's a lot of great speakers. Isn't our guest going to be today? It's going to be a speaker there as well?
Yes, he is.
Yeah, there's going to be amazing. Bob Wright is going to be there. There's going to be amazing, amazing speakers. And it's interesting because someone just asked me, these guys are cutting edge. It's incredible. Somebody had asked me, I don't know how you keep up with all of this, because alternative medicine is constantly changing every day. There's so many scientists researching it and coming up with new studies and whatnot. And it's like, well, I don't keep up with it. I surround myself with geniuses and then I get the information from them.
Yeah. That's all I've ever done. Hang around with smart.
That's the way to stay on top of the information, that's for sure. And these guys are all just, spectacular and brilliant and, every day they come up with something new and it's really, really fascinating and it's a fun ride to learn all of these things. There's a cure for everything. And Ian and I have kind of, through both of us have assembled a team, to be able to cure anything. And if so far there's not a cure, we'll find it. That's how great this team is.
Okay, looks like I got him. He was calling the wrong number. Okay, I got it. Perfect. So he'll be here in a second.
And speaking of, thanks for promoting everybody right now. Are you and I still going to go to our spoon bending class tomorrow?
Oh yes, thank you for remembering that. How cool is that, folks? I'm finally going to get to see this and try it. I hope I can do it, man. I'll be so bummed if I can't do it.
I know, huh? Me too. Diane Aronson is another spectacular healer. She's been on the show and comes at energy work from a little bit of a different direction, and it's really interesting. And I just want to say again, I can repost a friend of hers filmed and edited a little YouTube clip. It's really good. And one of my best friends showed it to me. She sent it to me. And I didn't believe in spoon bending. I thought, maybe 3-4 people on the planet at one time or another could do it, but it's pretty impossible. So I don't know why I looked at the video. It's because my best friend sent it to me. So I'm looking at it, still not really believing it. I'm watching the whole thing and I'm still suspended in disbelief until one of my good friends, Norma, who sent it to me, she's in the video. She's bending the spoons. And I freaked out. I was like, you gotta be freaking kidding me.
Oh,
and then
wow.
I started to believe. Yeah. Norma is like 3/4 of the way through it with blonde hair and a really cute voice. And she was the one that her spoon, she did really well. Her spoon was making all kinds of spirals. And still, doubt is a huge enemy. So I called her up and I was like, you can bend spoons? And she's like, very matter of fact about it. She's like, oh yeah, I've done it many times. And I'm just like, so it's kind of fun because, you know, like for us, people come to us and are like, you know how to cure cancer? You know, and we're like, oh yeah. You know, when she started, and Diana on the show, when she was on the show, she was so matter of fact about it. Oh yeah, I've been teaching this for 25 years. Everybody can bend a spoon and with their mind, you know, and, Ian and I, you know what I'm saying? So I guess after you've been doing something for a while, it's just sort of like, you know, matter of fact. But if it's the first time you're seeing it, it's really amazing. So anyway, she is having here in the Hollywood area, she's teaching a class, at La Brea and 3rd area. And it's open to anyone who wants to come. And you can, again, contact me or Ian or Diane Arison on Facebook if you want to go. It starts at 1:00. And the great news is it's $20.
Yeah, unbelievable when I heard that.
Yeah. Well, that's how magnificent she is. She wants to make this available to everyone. So, you know, a friend of hers is hosting they're calling it a party, you know what I mean? I'm thinking of it more like a class or whatever, but it's going to be pretty interesting. Again, and I can repost it on Facebook and on Ian's page if you're interested in going. It's going to be, and her whole point of, it's not just about learning how to bend a spoon, you know, with your mind. It's not like doing a magic trick, as somebody called it. It's not. It's teaching you the power of your mind, and it's empowering you and reminding you of how much power your mind has. And that's what I just love about it.
Yeah.
So are you still trying to get our guest? Is that why you're so quiet and letting me ramble on?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. He said, I mean, he's got it. He's calling us, and apparently it's not coming through. We seem to have a couple phone numbers here that could be the issue. No, okay.
I thought the call-in line was the 717.
Yeah. But I had a couple different. I keep sending them the right one. I'm not sure.
Okay, well, I'll just keep talking because, you know, dead air is not fun.
Yeah, I know.
Well, the thing that I really like about healing yourself of any disease is also on the subject of empowerment is the empowerment, and the self-empowerment. Unfortunately, we're kind of living right now, and that's about to change. But there's parts of our society, not all, that are very into disempowering us. And it's everybody's choice, you know, whatever anybody wants. But going to even actually, and I'm getting very sort of puritanical here and technical, but even just going to one alternative medicine doctor, there is still a sense of, you know, I'm placing my power in your hands. I didn't do that when I had cancer. I ran around to, you know, everyone I sought out, anybody I could. Like, I was working with physicists, microscopists, spiritualists, of course, kinesiologists, you know, all these different people. And I would cross-reference the information. And I like that sort of idea of community healing in a sense. One person can't know everything. And, you know, each person is kind of focused in their own area of expertise. And so, you know, and then it's up to you to decide, how does this resonate with me? Is this a vibrational match to who I am and what I want to do? And so, but in the process of that, you are your own doctor. You are making your decisions for yourself. And, you know, once the healing process is finished, there's a huge sense of, you know, self-empowerment. And it's interesting because it doesn't happen right away. Our good friend Lizzie Murray, as you know, she was the one that I was telling, you know, that I had cured myself, and you had overheard, and you didn't believe me for sure, Ian. But, and another conversation not long after the one that happened at that time, she said, don't you just feel so powerful? And I was like, no, no, I don't feel powerful. I was still at the point where I was just like in relief in a sense, and still kind of disbelieving, like, did this really happen? You know, and I went back and back for more tests because I couldn't believe it actually happened. So there was a long period, of still just sort of like, you know, the relief, the huge relief, and still disbelief. It takes a while for self-validation of the accomplishment, to kind of set in. And sometimes it takes years, as it did with me. And even today, sometimes there's days when I look back and I scratch my head. I was like, how did I do that again? What, did I really do that? But I don't feel bad about that, because one of the spiritualists that I think I probably admire, I don't want to say the most, but maybe the top 5, and her work, she even says that. She says sometimes, it just seems like the most natural thing for me to do, this healing work. And then other times I look back and like, how is it that I am doing this work? How is this happening? So I guess it's a natural human process, or a natural state of being, of, sometimes validating yourself and then sometimes questioning it. But all that to say that, the self-empowerment, that process, that healing aspect alone, is worth its weight in gold. Are you there, Ian?
Yeah. No, I'm just having a ball looking at this. Cause I don't know what to do. I mean, I don't know what to do. He's got the number. He's calling in, and apparently it's not getting through.
Ian?
Here we
hello,
go.
yes,
Here we
your
go.
caller's on the line.
Oh, wonderful. Okay.
It's Ryan calling. Ryan Bloom here. I just got through.
Ryan, there you are.
Hi, Ryan. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. Greetings to everyone. Many blessings.
Yes. I think this is good timing, because I've been getting worked up in this phone call today. One, because I had to talk about my friend that's got the pancreatic cancer, and then I get mad at the government for them being who they are. And then we had issues getting you on, so I'm a little stressed out. But you seem to be a guy that's probably going to be able to help me out with that. Don't you have a very good, positive energy message for life? I feel that's coming from you today.
Ian, we all do, but yes, absolutely. And, I'm certainly here to hold that space so that we can all realize, that peace within, and the peace without. So absolutely.
So Ryan, I'm curious now, for those of the listeners who aren't familiar with you, when did this journey, how long have you been on this particular journey, spreading this beautiful message, or were you born with it, or did something happen for you to decide that you wanted to spread this message of love?
I thank you so much. It's a great question. I've always since early childhood, I've always been very ultra sensitive, not only to my own movement of thoughts and emotions, but also the movement and thoughts and emotions of others. And it was really difficult as a young child to understand the hurtfulness in this world and the pain and suffering that so many walk around with, whether it's conscious or unconscious. And so I kind of went through a phase where I needed to, so to speak, kind of numb myself out to it to really be able to adjust. And in 2005, I actually came home after a 17-hour day from work. It was a Saturday. I was required to work on Saturday. I was in the corporate world, and my background as professional was actually as a financial planner for 9.5 years, and also got into the estate planning and then eventually into real estate and mortgage lending. But I was flipping through at that time, my television, and I came across the PBS special, Wayne Dyer, and it was The Power of Intention back then. And I don't know how to describe it, but my whole life as I knew it changed. My whole focus changed. The direction of my energy changed, and these innate gifts, talents, empathic talents, other just treasures that I brought with me to this beautiful planet Earth became activated again. And so I spent basically the first 3 or 5 years or so gobbling book after book after book after book. I read on an average 3 to 5, sometimes 7 books a week.
Wow.
And I never completed a book assignment through all high school and into college and middle school and so on and so forth. So I always struggled with finding material that resonated with me. I used to sit at a coffee shop and bookstores, and I would just go up and down the magazine, racks looking at different subjects, and nothing resonated with me. I mean, nothing. until Wayne Dyer's Kit and Caboodle showed up, and I read his book and listened to his audios, and then I just went on I had such a deep burning thirst for information that actually rang my heart wide open, just rang true within me. And that was really an incredible journey, but the challenge with the awakening process for most is we begin to realize, just how illusionary sometimes, this existence can be, and how so much comes and goes so quickly. And what is your orientation within the movements of this world, particularly with a very consumeristic culture that we've, developed here in the land of the free here in the U.S. We're really bombarded on a continuous basis with information, and it's very scientifically developed and penetrates the human consciousness in ways that we don't really consciously understand until we begin to step back from buying into the story of that path. And so that just led basically into a whole nother realm, and I went into the Eastern philosophies, and I began studying all the various religions and cultures, and I began looking at the indigenous cultures on our planet. I began actually breaking the human experience down into quartiles so that I could focus on certain areas of my relationship with my human experience, quartiled off. So, whatever I felt inspired at that particular day or felt the greatest amount of joy or movement, mind, body, spirit, I would pursue understanding that quartile for that period, and then I would move to a different quartile. So I began looking at societal effects on our awareness and consciousness. I began looking at our parental effects on our awareness and consciousness. I began looking at our peers, began looking at education, began looking at the financial system, began looking at our foods, system, and really began walking almost a 360-degree view around me and began understanding my relationship to each facet of my life. And so the Blooming in Love experience was actually the end result of the culmination of about 9.5 years of very internal and external participation in the realization of my own divine self. And so what the Blooming in Love experience is, to bloom in love, to just be, is to help facilitate a sacred space whereby each individual can inquiry into themselves and self-discover what is keeping them back from living in accordance with their own divine truth, as well as allowing the abundance of this magnificent planet and those that we're choosing to share in this experience with, allowing that to move into our experience gracefully and effortlessly.
You used a word, Ryan, and I wonder if I've never heard this word before. So I was just wondering if you would explain what I think you call it a quartile. Could you explain what that is?
Yeah. So the word quartile, if you imagine it as kind of a pie chart, remember as a financial planner, asset allocation is a big important quote unquote theme within the investment. Did is I kind of took that skill set of allocating time, energy, and effort into different facets of the human experience.
Brilliant.
Does that make sense?
Brilliant. Totally. I'm giggling over here. I just think your journey is just so spectacular. And I think, it's just, when you look at another individual's for whatever, journey, timeline, whatever, it's just spectacular. It's like you're the perfect person. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you heard at the beginning of the show that, I'm leaning towards the philosophy that we have intention before we come forth into each lifetime. And it's just, I'm getting a giggle, like it's just so perfect. I'm giggling because what you're saying is just so perfect, and you're the perfect person to do that. And I love that, you are sort of addressing, the, financial abundance or all abundance in that, because there's a huge need for that. There's still, with people reaching for spirituality, that old tale of, Jesus was poor and had no money, which I know you don't know me, I'm an Essene. And so that was completely contrary And but that was such a strong message, and so many of the people reaching for their spirituality and means like no abundance or minimal abundance. And I don't know, do you see with the people you work with that really kind of stops them up there?
Well, it's a great question. And, I think, or at least I feel that we all have to go through the letting go process first to empty our cup. And then it comes, when you are in your organic, natural state, comes the ushering in of the universe's, really desire to fulfill every wish and desire that you came into this physical manifestation to experience. So, spirituality is kind of a very, it even has its own pockets of confusion too, right? So, I found that traversing the quote unquote spiritual path, can become a very dead end result too. And so I always say, I've always found, and I got caught up in a lot of that as well. I mean, even the idea or belief that, and I know this is going to be a tough one to swallow, but if you can work with me for just a moment, even the idea and belief that we need to heal, right, is actually perpetuating the further recognition that we are in disharmony with life itself, right? So when we begin to recognize that everything is energy, vibration, resonance, and that each vibration or resonance has a particular quality about it, when we match the quality of vibration within our own heart to the vibration and quality of the universe and how it desires to support and nourish every, desire, wish, what have you, it is ready and able. But again, you have to be a vibrational match. And that's why it's so important, at least from this point of perspective, to empty one's cup fully first of every ideal concept, belief, construct, projection, assumption, conclusion. And then when you can get to the place of not knowing anything, you arrive to a place of humility. And when you act out of accordance of humility, you actually are just simply being moved by life itself, no longer caught up in the mind and the constructs and conditions of the beliefs of the mind, but actually being moved by an energy, which was a very big struggle for me because, of course, my world changed very drastically. My partnerships with my mortgage partners fell away. They really didn't understand why I was, doing what I was doing at my desk when I was making, $15,000, $20,000 a month every single month. And, I hadn't booked a loan in weeks now and then months. And I just kept staying in my space because I had a $2,200 obligation. So I was going to use my office space, but I didn't use it for the purpose that I originally intended, right? So life had something more to share with me. And because I again, took that bold step to follow that inner nudging, that blossoming of the heart, so to speak, my whole world changed. A lot of people fell away, even my relations with my parents, and my mother was actually going through her third bout of breast cancer at the time, and I was her caregiver, provider, and medical, custodian, and so I was kind of the cog in the wheel as that was going on. So she was a great teacher, and so much has transpired. But yes, to answer your question, absolutely. We are spiritual beings having a physical experience, and the abundance of this earth is representative of the abundance of our own divine nature.
Wonderful. I love that. I can't help but ask because you did say I'm very for years too very familiar with Wayne Dyer, but Ian's probably going to start laughing right now, but I am curious, and I'm sure that are you also familiar with the Abraham Hicks material?
Yeah. Yes, I am.
Okay, I figured. I'm a big Abrahammer. And I'm wondering, from your point of view, when you say you have to let go of all, your let go of basically everything, all, is that it would another way of saying that, like, you're releasing all resistance? Yes,
you could say that, and that would be correct. And we have to, yes. The short answer is yes. The slightly additional explanation is that we all come in with a subset of of destiny, so to speak, right? We've mapped this out, and so everybody is unique in how they arrive to that place. But the word releasing or surrendering or letting go of resistance, all pointing to the same thing, just a different language, maybe a different reference point.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I was wondering about that, just different word labels. And I think, I guess they're all good because, some people resonate with one word and another person resonates with another word. And,
right.
So that's, yeah. And then, I'm looking at the time and you have several books. Is this right? Have you written several books?
Well, I'm actually in the midst of writing, 2 books right now. So I have not published any books yet, but I am in the midst, and I have, again, this is that surrender aspect. The part of me that, the personality construct would have wanted to have the book written, published, and out in the world in a short amount of time. But the blooming in love understands that first we are seed and soil and darkness and vastness, right? Spaciousness. And then we in time, when the time is right, we emerge, right, from the seed to a seedling. And then we break ground reaching for the light. And eventually we grow above the ground and reach taller and taller. And ultimately we blossom. And so I'm really surrendering to no time as it relates to allowing this information to move through me. And I still haven't come up really even with the titles yet. I'm just going to let the book kind of write itself. And so yeah, I'm in the midst of doing that. And so I'm really excited about what may come because I'm always surprised myself after I read over it again.
I'm looking at your website here, The Ancient Mind. This is interesting. Why don't you tell us a bit about The Ancient Mind?
Yeah. So, the website is really, by the way, it's, I've done everything organically over time. I have not really hired anyone to do these things. I have a strong belief in drawing or attracting in the right people that are, really, able to utilize what the Blooming in Love Just Be experiences is pointing to. The Ancient Mind is, the collective human consciousness. And so it is one could say the template, right, in which we all have agreed to come into and immerse ourselves in and forget, okay? Because at the end of the day, if we knew what we know, if we accessed our eternal wisdom of infinite time and space, no end, no beginning, the game would be over and there would be no fun. So the Ancient Mind is really just the collective consciousness of the human experience over eons of time. And don't believe history. It didn't begin just, so many thousands of years ago. In the Earth is beginning to reveal our history here on the planet. And all these sentient beings and those that have been holding custodianship and guardianship over this history are beginning to reveal it. But what we'll find is that this is not our first rodeo, and certainly the Ancient Mind is one in which is the template for the human experience. So certain conditions, certain constructs, certain lineages that we choose to manifest particular conditions and circumstances, because really we haven't come here to learn necessarily anything. We've come here actually to apply what we already know.
Yeah, that's interesting. I heard that we're actually an experiment here, and we passed, I guess. We come from the light, and they wanted to see if we would return to the light if we had free will. And it turns out, I guess we do. Most of us do. I know I am. I tested the dark waters, and I was like, no.
Yeah.
I'm going towards the light.
Right. Yeah. I have a question for you, Ryan.
Sure.
This is interesting because I have, still burning questions. And, so you said something that really perked in my ear. You said if we came, and please correct me. What I heard was if we came here knowing everything that we know, it wouldn't be fun. The game would be over. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
Because it's so interesting. it's all of my Abraham family are always laughing at me because I'm always kind of, challenging Abraham when I get in a hot seat and talk to them. And, it's interesting to me because I'm gathering my thoughts here. Well, it's interesting because at one point, I'm wondering, like, there are people who say they can remember their previous lives. And I've only had one slight experience in that, and that was in a dream, and I didn't know what it was until I called my teachers and they told me what it was. But, it's interesting that one time someone asked Abraham, why can't we remember our previous lives? And, that has always been a question that the answer, or my answer for me, only my truth, has never quite been answered yet. Abraham replied, well, if it was important, you'd remember. And I was like, maybe that's their answer, but that doesn't work for me. So then I saw an incredible hypnotist, and he did past life regression. And actually, through that, there was tremendous healing with these people, within themselves, within others, within family members. So it was important. And so I guess I'm asking you, if we, again, I'm reiterating the question, like, why do you think that we can't remember these previous lives? Because it wouldn't be fun, we'd know everything, and, there would be no contrast to manifest from?
Right. So, in this world of duality, this is one of an infinite multiverse, right, planes of existence. In this particular world of duality, we are in what people have referred to as the darkness, right? And so one might say, can we bring the vastness of who we are to a place whereby our own shadows cause us fear, right? Because, again, the ancient mind was fabricated, on fear and survival, right? So survival and fear are your predominant mechanisms. And of course, again, that's why it's one of your lower shock systems. But, I have had, I'll tell you, as far as remembering past lives, I've had experiences where I have been privy to experiencing those things. I have also realized that they don't have any more significance other than it's helped you understand that this isn't your first time being here. And so in that comes a great sense of spaciousness, to not have to be so rigid on oneself, to have more self-love, to be more compassionate, to be more considerate, to be more kind. And of course, when I say blooming in love, just be, these, I don't mean conceptually, I mean experientially, being that love, being the vibration, the expression of joy, right? When I write in my messages on Facebook, I always write enjoyment, but I capitalize joy and leave all the others lowercase, because the vibration, as you know through Abraham's work, joy, follow your joy, is one of the highest vibrations of magnetism. And so, I've met many people along, thousands, of course, over many years, but, that I have connected with, and I remembered, like I could, one would say deja vu, where you can anticipate the next, statement from that person. You know that the person over in the corner is going to shuffle the chair in a certain way, and I call those my breadcrumbs. I like to think of it as like a tale on Hansel and Gretel. I'm looking and following the breadcrumbs so that I can remember my journey back to my true divine nature in the physical embodiment of the human experience. So
I love it.
Our past lives and our future lives, they're all concurrent. They're taking place in the ever-present moment of now. And so the human mind can't grasp that because it wants to know an end and a beginning. But in truth, it's all simultaneously manifested in this moment as we speak.
Well, you're reading my mind, because thank you for reading my mind, because it's turned into a comedy that Cynthia trying to I can wrap my head around some concepts, but the one of time, and it's not linear, it's, like a plane, and it's all happening at once and whatnot. And the only reason I said I do give my attention to it, it was very interesting. I'd love to hear your comment on this. When Edgar Cayce was asked, he had 14,000 predictions that came true. And when they asked him, how are you doing this? How do you do this? He says, it's all happening at once.
Right.
And that's always, put my head in a noodle. I know. I've asked other people about this too. And I've read the book, a particular book by a physicist, and he was, explaining that about time. And, he's saying that you can't really understand money or abundance until you understand, physics, which I understand. But then you have to understand time as well. And I really got stuck on that, that chapter of, you know what I mean? It's like I get it, but I don't get it in a sense. And, maybe you would like to talk a little bit more about, like, what did Edgar Cayce mean? It's all happening at once. And yet if it is, again, how come we don't know it? You know what I'm saying? That's what trips me up.
Right. So, as one empties one's cup, as I like to call it, what happens is you're freeing up hard drive space, so to speak. Okay?
Right.
And in freeing up the hard drive space, if you get someone to come and work on your computer, you first get it, the thing runs like a champ. 6 months later, it's like, what happened to this thing, Well,
yes.
it became fragmented, okay? And so its capacity to process information becomes bogged down. The human mind is very similar in that capacity. And so when we begin to negate constructs, beliefs, thoughts, patterns, things that we've observed in our parents, most of our human template experiences are set up in the first 8 years of our existence as a human being. And so all that we witness, all that we perceive, the environments, the smells, the language, all of that acts as a reference point in the subconscious mind. And this is why many struggle with being able to perceive multiple dimensional realities simultaneously, because they are bound by these conditions. And so as we begin to unlock, right, and free up the space, it's like going in and defragging your hard drive. And now the system runs in optimal state. In addition to that, as far as receiving, communication or perceiving multiple realities, really when the mind is quiet, which very few people have the capacity to get to. I mean, I struggled for many, many years with meditation, and mostly because what was being touted in the spiritual community was guided meditations, right? Well,
right.
When you're using guided meditations, you are in turn using your sensory system, your mind construct, to process the information, and then you're creating images, right? So you're participating just as you do in everyday life. But what I have found is, and through my own application and kind of what I call it hacking. I've taken a bunch of different things from many, many different arenas, and I brought it all together in what I hope is a simple language that even the most convoluted minds out there can accept. So once we get the mind quiet, now what happens is the heart energy, the sacred heart, begins to optimize, one's experience, and we begin to open ourselves up to more information, and so on and so forth. So what you'll realize is that this plane of existence is kind of, is utilizing information from a lot of different planes of existence, and the information is what I call in inconspicuous places. The universe is communicating to us all the time and right in front of our eyes, but because our minds are always trying to solve problems or to seek clarity and definition, it negates it, and it doesn't actually receive it or process it.
Makes total sense. Total sense.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking at the time. So I would love to study with you. I'm sure we got a lot of listeners that want to study with you. So do we go to your website and do you have processes there, or I guess that's my question.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I would welcome anyone that resonates. I'm here to serve and hold a sacred space to help you return to yourself. I don't claim myself to be an expert or guru. I only observe the inner guru within you and help you access that. The website is www.bloominginlove.com, which is BLOOM, my last name, and then INGINLOVE.com. And I do offer, private sessions, and it can either be discussion, or we can actually utilize the applied energetics that I've studied over many years and become, acquainted with, and become certainly very practical with. So again, I give a lot of people a lot of tools that I feel we can use in our everyday waking life. And then ultimately, I moved here to North Carolina. Actually, my family's back in Florida with my 2 children right now, my wife and kids, and I'm on my own right now because I've come to North Carolina to look for some land. We're going to be building a center out of CalEarth's sustainable dome technology and creating the Blooming in Love Heart Center, where people can come and actually immerse themselves in retreat as well as learn through applied experience. There's going to be all kinds of incredible workshops, from permaculture to organic gardening to meditation to actually 4 or 5 day retreats. So I'm up here beginning to allow the land here to draw me to it, and that will be coming down the road in this coming year, I hope. So I look forward to inviting all of those that are listening at some point to join us on this beautiful space of love.
Yeah,
oh my God,
amazing.
Yeah, it does. I'll be there.
You are already there.
Because it's already happening.
Haunting me again.
That is mind-blowing. Has anybody been watching Morgan Freeman's The Wormhole, Beyond the Wormhole or whatever on TV? Have you seen that yet?
No.
I have seen it. Honestly, I don't watch too much TV. I'm so sensitive to information now. As much as there's some great shows out there, but yeah, Morgan Freeman's doing a great job. If you'll observe, there's a lot of individuals in the realm of, Hollywood and other actors and comedians that are beginning to communicate some wonderful stuff for us, aren't they?
Yeah, we're very, very evolved, but so many are afraid of the powers that be too. Because they want to be.
Right.
That's the thing about me. I don't give a shit, if I become the next, Arnold Schwarzenegger or not. I'm probably gonna anyway, because I think that's where I can do the most help on this world, is to get the information to the masses, is to use my acting career. But it's not really something that I wanted. Whatever. Point is that a lot of people out there won't do that because they're going to lose their shot at being a movie star for speaking their mind. But I believe we have to, and so do most of us. It's just, like the ones like the Angelina Jolie, she just needs to be a little more educated before she starts spouting off about cutting off body parts.
Sure. Yeah. Well, and to each his own. I mean, each and every one of us are bringing our unique, perspective to the world. And I really do my best to not stand in judgment. As I shared with Lynette, this amazing woman that we're all connected through, I said, we can't resist or fight the system that is in place. But what we can do is be the solution and the love that has the capacity to change it all in a moment.
Love it.
Thank you.
Well put. Thank you, Ryan. You're amazing.
He knocks it out the park.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank both of you for holding the space and for your hearts and for the love that you offer those that are listening, and, the continuation, the perpetuation of this presence really helps serve. And, it's all of us working collectively. And I always say we come here to gather ourselves, capital S, in the true nature that we are. And so again, at this event, this wonderful event coming up, I'll be sharing some tidbits and some information. I'm not real, my predominant focus is in nutrition, although that's a big part of my life. And I certainly, I have a great solution for people that are looking for some good nutrient-dense organic solutions, that are, kind of easy to make the transition out of the processed foods. But, I really approach everything holistically, because we can't leave anything untouched, because we're only cutting then a part of ourselves off. And we really need to embrace all of ourselves.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, for anybody that wants to come out in Branson, Missouri, for the Hungry for Health event, that's April 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Both of us will be speaking there. And then, of course, your website is bloominginlove.com. I love that. And thanks for bringing love back into my day, man, because I was starting off a little pissed off about a few things, but I'm feeling much better now.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And you wrapped it up perfectly with the old, it really is all about love. And we're going to end it on that note, folks. God bless, and we'll see you next week. Peace.
I believe in the simple things, in everything you do. because I believe